Hi folks, and welcome back to another episode of Exploring Shasta County History. I'm your host, Jeremy M. Tuggle. Today at a very historic site in Cottonwood in Shasta County, California, at the final resting place of some of Cottonwood's earliest pioneer settlers. This is the historic Cottonwood Cemetery, established in 1886. So during the 1870s, the land in this area of Cottonwood was owned by William McClure Wilson, a native of Kentucky and an early pioneer settler who was a local farmer in the area. This is where they homesteaded on this property here. He was married to his wife Mary, who was also a native of California. Maiden name is not known to me. Been doing some research to find out what it is. I just haven't come up with the documentation for it. Mary was actually the first burial here at the cemetery. This is a sprawling cemetery which has accumulated acreage over the years. As I dive into the history here, their home was situated nearby on this present-day historic site, the Cottonwood Cemetery. Wilson's wife died on June 29th, 1874, and is buried on the Wilson farm at this location. Prior to William McClure Wilson's death on February 4th, 1881, the Wilson property was sold to Raleigh Linebaugh. 5 years later, in 1886, a group of Cottonwood residents gathered and organized the Cottonwood Cemetery Association, and they purchased 2 acres of property to use as the Cottonwood Cemetery from Linebaugh for the sum of $10 in gold coin. The Wilson's grave was located in the center of this acre parcel. During 1900, the Cemetery Association purchased an additional 2 acres. Eventually, inflation took course, and the purchase price for the 2 acres became $20 in gold coin. The historic cemetery was operated as an association until January 1944, when the cemetery district was formed, and the first board of trustees were appointed by the Shasta County Board of Supervisors. Years later, in 1965, an additional 3 acres was purchased, which enlarged the land we are on now. This cemetery now consists of 7 acres, which is all under lawn care. Over the years, many improvements have been made, including a new office building with shop, public restrooms, major maintenance equipment, and irrigation systems as well. This is the resting place, like I said, of some of Cottonwood's earliest pioneers. I have family buried here on both my paternal and maternal side as well. So you can see the cemetery is sprawling. There's the office building over here. A lot of more modern burials, more presently up front near the front of the cemetery. As you can see, it is a beautiful, beautiful resting place. On my maternal side, the Meyer family is buried here, and on my paternal side, the McNamara family is buried here, plus other additional relatives. So now I'm going to take you to the graves of Mary Wilson and her husband, William McClure Wilson. They are the first interments here in the cemetery. Mary is the oldest interment. So here we are down in what is known as the oldest section of the cemetery here at the Cottonwood Cemetery. And keep in mind, this cemetery dates back to 1886. And this is the oldest parcel back here next to this wooden fence. This is the old Wilson farm or ranch. Like I said, Wilson was a local farmer. That was William McClure Wilson. They are buried right over here. And this is their headstones here. So the Wilsons and Leidenbaugh are the majority of the reason for the establishment of the cemetery here at this location. This location of what used to be their homestead site, the ranch land, farmland, that belonged to William McClure Wilson. The first burial in this cemetery is that of his wife, Mary. And Mary died on June 29th, 1874. Her husband followed suit in 1881. So to the left here, this is the headstone of Mary Wilson. June 29th, 1874. Age 35 years, native California. Here's the backside. Now heading on over to her husband. This is, I presume, to be the second oldest headstone in the cemetery according to record. But this is the headstone of William McClure Wilson. That's a neat etching there. I believe it says "Come Home," and then it has a hand etched into the headstone there. William M. Wilson. Born September 22nd, 1829. Died February 4th, 1881. I believe his memorial on Find a Grave has an error on it. The headstone says 1881, but there's a different date on the Find a Grave memorial. So I have had some conflict with his record. But these are the two oldest headstones in the Cottonwood Cemetery. So how about that, folks? The two oldest headstones in the cemetery right here in front of us. Alright, thank you for watching, If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode. If you ever get a chance to come visit the cemetery, come check it out. It is open from dawn to dusk, and it's a sprawling cemetery, but like I said earlier, there are many Cottonwood pioneers buried here in this cemetery, of which I also have family on both my maternal and paternal side, like I mentioned earlier. So come check it out and see for yourself. Please subscribe, and thank you for watching.